good of an idea is to read two fantasies at the same time. And welcome to today's little vlog. I feel like I've been sort of falling off my YouTube game a little bit, just for a variety of different reasons that maybe include a little bit of self-doubt or just a creative block and a reading slump. I'm not quite sure, but I want to slowly come back, just practice and be better at my vlogging game, I guess. Like, I want to be a more confident vlogger, so that's what we're gonna try to do. I just want to take you along a weekend with me. Today is Friday, and I think it's gonna be a pretty exciting weekend because tomorrow, actually, my husband and I were going on a little bookish date, and I'm really excited about that. Today, I actually am about to go meet my friend at 10 at a cafe, so it's gonna be more of a productive day because I have some things that I need to get done, but then I definitely want to spend the rest of the afternoon possibly reading, possibly maybe writing, because I'm also trying to but start a routine of writing and implement it more into my day-to-day life. So we're gonna see how that goes, but I want to show you my current reads because I've been in this weird, I guess, reading slump where I don't know if it's because I'm like mainly focusing on the books that I own and I wasn't in the mood necessarily to read some of the books that I own, and so I wasn't kind of reaching out for any of them. But anyway, I did get a new book. I got Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. This is her first adult novel after so many years that she spent writing all of the Shadowhunter books, which if you're not familiar with, I actually have them right here with me. They basically are the books that I think introduced me to my teenage years of reading. I remember this was probably the first time that I felt like I belonged to like a big fandom. So I didn't read Twilight or The Hunger Games when they were like at its peak. I read The Hunger Games years later in high school with City of Bones. I feel like this was like my Twilight for me. So City of Bones is the first book in the Mortal Instruments, and this came out first, the first 3 books. And then she also wrote a prequel, which was The Infernal Devices. This is The Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Princess, and then she went back and finished what originally was the trilogy of the Mortal Instruments, and it became a 6-book series, and then so many other books and trilogies have come out of that. And I haven't actually read every single book in the Shadowhunters, so I still have that pending. But anyway, this is her first adult novel, and so one thing that Cassandra Clare is really good at in her Shadowhunter books, and I think the reason why they're so well loved, is her characters, the found family aspect. Just the way that you return to her books, they feel so familiar and you feel like you are surrounded by family. And the romance. I think she is great at writing, especially like love triangles back in the day. And so going into this book, it's inevitable, I think, to not have those expectations of like really well constructed characters, really great romance. So that's what I'm really excited for in this one. My bookmark fell. I'm on page 164, which I don't know what chapter this is, but the chapters in this book are pretty long. This is a pretty chunky book, and I feel like it's a book that I also want to take my time with. That's also something that I want to sort of, I guess, romanticize in my channel. More of slow reading. Sometimes I just want to fully digest a story. Sometimes I want to procrastinate to finish it because I'm really loving it, and I think there's not a problem with that. Like, I want to avoid the pressure of that inevitable pressure. I feel like I've used that word twice, but that inevitable pressure that you feel as a book content creator of having to speed through books and like read books fast, and do the opposite and just like enjoy reading, annotating, fully digesting a story, especially a book like this one where there's so much world building. I would say though it's a little bit info dumpy at points where it feels like just things are being thrown at you and I'm a little bit confused. I don't think I have the world figured out, but I'm also only 100 pages into the book, and I know that this first one is more of an introduction into the world, and I feel like now is when I'm starting to connect a little bit more with the characters. It did take me a little bit, which surprised me again because based on what I told you, I thought I would fall in love with these characters instantly, but it's taken me a little bit. Basically, I went into this book not knowing anything about it, so I kind of went in blind. And what I can tell you, because I feel like not much has happened, a lot of it is just world building, there's not much of a plot yet, but what I can tell you is that there's royalty, a lot of political intrigue, and it's a completely new world. You can read it without reading the Shadowhunters. Like, it's nothing to do with her previous series. This is the map. Kel, one of our main characters, he was an orphan and he was taken to the castle to be the prince's protector. So he is the sword catcher. Basically, he is trained to sort of be his double and like be there in case, for example, the prince has to give a speech, but it's not completely safe for him to do so. Then he will pretend to be him, and he uses this little necklace that makes everybody believe that he is the prince. So he looks like the prince to everybody else. So he's just there to be like his protector, but to everyone else he is just the prince's cousin. That sounds like the Prince's Protection Program. Anyway, so that is sort of where the story is heading. I'm sorry if that was not a good synopsis. I will probably give you an updated one as I keep reading it, because I'm still, again, not quite sure what the exact plot of the book is, but I'm having, I guess, a good time immersing myself in a completely new fantasy world built from scratch, although it can be a little confusing. And then I also started a second book. This one is A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. This is a book that I borrowed from the library quite recently, and I got to page 46, so didn't read much. This is another fantasy, so I don't know. I think I'm just gonna focus on this one because I don't know how good of an idea it is to read two fantasies at the same time. But I was also really enjoying this. This is like a very charming, almost cozy, fairy tale-esque fantasy, and I think I needed something like this. I've been reading a lot of more like heavier fantasy, which I think it's usually what I seek for, but every now and then I like more of a light-hearted one, and this one I think is also considered like a fantasy romance. It's the same author of Divine Rivals, which is a duology that I didn't love, but someone commented in my video and said that I would actually really enjoy this, and so far I'm loving the writing. It has very lyrical prose, and I think I find a lot of comfort in that because sometimes I just want a book that I can annotate beautiful quotes from. So we'll see if I continue reading this as well, because I was really enjoying it, although I do wish I had my own copy because I do want to annotate it. But I'm so happy that I got this really quickly from the library as well, because I placed the hold quite recently actually. So I will tell you more about what these books are because I'm actually running out of time and I need to make myself breakfast and then head to the cafe. Yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of a productive session. Did I say that we were gonna go to a cafe? I think I did. Reading update, because I was gonna stop at the previous chapter but it ended in a cliffhanger, so I continued reading past to the next chapter, and I'm now on page 68. But I want to share a little bit of my thoughts on this book because I didn't get to talk about it as much. Basically what this book is about, we're following our main character. His name is Jack, and in this world there is the island of Cadence and then the mainland. Jack left the island of Cadence to go to the mainland to study music at the university there. He received a letter from somebody in the island of Cadence who requested his help, and so for the first time in many years he's gonna go back home and figure out why is it that they need him. The thing is, there's been girls who have been disappearing in the island, and that's pretty much all I know. Again, this is another book that I'm jumping in blind, but what I'm loving about this book is, once again, the writing. The writing is stunning. I think when I was reading Divine Rivals, I was in love, absolutely in love with the writing, following both of our main characters' perspectives. I'm more of a character-driven story person, obviously with a good balance of like good plot and all that. I love getting to know a character and just feeling very emotionally attached to characters. That's my favorite thing in the world. So I actually was very much in love with Divine Rivals up until like the middle part, and then things just started to go in a direction that I wasn't the biggest fan of. If it was wasn't because of that, I think that book would have been a favorite. That's why I wanted to try more books by Rebecca Ross, because I did really love the way she writes, and she's not disappointing in this one, especially because it's an adult fantasy. So I was curious about that. I feel like this is just very, like, it feels whimsical and like just like magical in a sense. It's so comforting to read. I don't know, something about it, something about the writing is like my favorite type of writing to come across, and this is exactly what I needed right now. So I'm really happy. I finished a chapter that I was in for Swordcatcher. However, that book is moving at a slower pace, so I think I just keep going back and forth in between the two books because this one's a little bit more fast-paced, but still not as like action-packed. But I like that both books are taking their time in constructing the world. That's what I always seek for as well, not just like a very rushed story, especially if they're both like fantasy and you need to get very familiar with the world. What I did notice in Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare was that the way that information is presented to you seems a little bit kind of chaotic and kind of random at the same time. The way she often introduces aspects of the main characters is through using like the phrase like, when blank character's name was younger, this happened to them, and that's her way of kind of giving you character background, which makes sense. But I feel like it just kind of gets a little repetitive, and I would want to see her talk about their backgrounds in a different way. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like usually she'll just say, like, for example, if one character is having like dinner, she'll suddenly mention like an anecdote of something that happened to them when they were younger and the reason why they love the bowl that they're eating out of, you know, and that's how we're getting to know the main character. But I feel like it's through a lot of flashbacks kind of randomly pieced together, and then like random facts of the world. Like there's a lot of information being thrown to you at random times. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's not as organized, it doesn't flow as nicely. You're just kind of like going forward and backward, forward and backward, forward and backward. So that's the only thing about that book, although I am interested to see where the story goes and all that. So that's my little reading update. So in case you were wondering what is it exactly that I'm writing, I just wanted to let you all know that I'm pretty much at the starting line. It's been a while since I last wrote. I obviously would write a lot of essays for school, but it's been quite a little bit since I've been in that sort of like grind for writing. In terms of writing fiction stories, I used to write very cringy chapters in my family's computer when I was younger, and since then I haven't written at all. And it's just an intimidating step to take, to sit down and say I'm gonna start writing again, because obviously it's a process that takes time, takes patience, and a lot of it comes with practice and improving and pushing yourself to sit down and do something. And I think at first I was like, I don't even know if I should like include it in the vlog or not, because I'm pretty much at like early stages of, first of all, thinking about the idea, brainstorming, making sure that I'm clear on what I want to write, and I still haven't gone there yet. I know what I want to tell with my story, I just don't know yet the characters or the world or the genre. There's not really much I can tell you other than just, I guess, keeping each other company. Maybe one of you out there is also seeking to sit down and start your own novel. As someone who's been a reader for a really long time, it's something that I've also seen myself doing and wanting to do for a very long time. So maybe we'll just motivate each other. I do know that the side of YouTube exists for writers, in particular AuthorTube, and I love that side of YouTube. I love watching those videos and seeking inspiration there. I think I want my channel to be sort of a combination of both. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm just brainstorming and trying to make time for writing and sitting myself down to write. I think that's the biggest challenge. It's a huge challenge, it's a huge step. So I'm actually pretty proud that I just brainstorm, even if it was for a few minutes. You know, every single little grain that you put in is gonna add up and be worth it by the end, no matter how long it takes. It's the experience and write that matters, and that's what I'm trying to tell myself. So yeah, that's all. Also, kind of random, but you know who has been in my mind a lot lately? Abby Jimenez. This has nothing to do with what I was saying, but I've been thinking about Yours Truly so much since I read it. Like, I actually genuinely want to reread this book. And what's stopping me from rereading it? I don't know. I really don't know. Why is it that I can't reread one of my favorite books so far this year? And I think eventually one of my favorite books ever. Like, what is going on? This was the biggest surprise of the year, I think. But she also just came out with her new book, Say You'll Remember Me, and I'm still missing one book in that trilogy, and I just can't stop thinking about reading it. Just her books make me so happy, and I feel like usually books don't do that with me. It's also my fault because it's the books that I pick, but just like feeling happy reading her books is amazing. Anyway, just thoughts. I'll see you later for another update, I guess. Good morning, everybody. It is now Saturday, and I just finished getting ready because we're gonna go out. We're gonna run some errands first, and then we're gonna go on a little date. We're gonna go get some lunch, and then we're gonna go try to find a park where we can read. Sorry if you can hear like background noises, but I'm pretty excited. And yeah, I wanted to also give you a little reading update because I didn't get to actually read more from A River Enchanted. I got to page 80. That's where I'm currently at. And then for Swordcatcher, this is what I read last night before going to sleep. It's my favorite time of the day to read. It's just like I need to read in order to fall asleep. So we finished watching the movie pretty late. We both cried during that movie. So I didn't pick up the camera to film myself while reading, but I did read some of Swordcatcher. And let me give you an update. I'm now on page 200. I have a good feeling that now the plot is gonna start to pick up because things are now connecting in the sense that we are following two perspectives. So I told you about Kel, who is the sword catcher in charge of protecting the prince, whose name is Connor. And they have sort of that sibling dynamic that I feel like Cassandra Clare really loves in her books because it reminds me of Will and Jem in The Infernal Devices, except it's written differently. I don't know, they don't have the same charm that those characters had. I don't know, there's something missing from these characters, but I'm slowly starting to really like connect with them. And then we have another perspective, and her name, what's her name? Her name is Lynn, and she is a physician, and she also belongs to the group of people who still have magical abilities, but in this world magic has been forbidden. But it's her dream to like become a physician, so she tries to find books that have forbidden magic in them, and that's sort of where we started following her, like her going into a bookshop looking for a book. Now the perspectives are starting to come together, so I'm really excited to see all these characters, you know, connect and like talk to each other, interact with each other, and see where that leads us afterwards. So that's where I'm currently at. I still feel like the world is really complex, and I don't know if I'm just not used to that, or if it's the writing that makes it slightly chaotic. I feel like there's just like things thrown at us, and I can't keep track of who is who, where is what, and like what is going on everywhere. So I'm still slightly confused, but I'm hoping that as the book progresses and as the series progresses, because the second book just came out recently, which is why I decided to pick up this one. Also because Reagan from Prue's Project couldn't stop talking about this book. She kept saying that this was the fantasy romance that deserved more hype, and because I haven't had much luck with fantasy romance, I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick this up, especially because I mean Cassandra Clare is an author that I was familiar with. I will let you know if that gets any better, but it's intriguing. And something about this book, very interesting fact, the smell of this book is just the best. And so whenever I open this book, it's like I'm transported into a bookstore. Does that make sense? It just has that perfect like book smell. I don't know if that's weird or not to say, but I love the smell of books. Anyway, I will see you in a little bit when we go out for lunch.
Sunlight dances on the balcony as I wait for thee to come home.
Hello everybody, happy Sunday. Today has been more of a restful day. It's currently 3:30 p.m. and I just showered. I'm now ready to, I guess, get started with my day, but we're not really gonna do too much. We're just gonna chill at home. It's just a day for resting. I love Sundays, and we're also gonna probably do some cleaning. I'm thinking about cleaning my shelves. They really need it right now, so I think I'm gonna like not necessarily reorganize. I think I'm just gonna clean. But usually when I clean my shelves I end up reorganizing it one more time. But anyway, we'll see. I do have have an update for Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare because I've been mainly reading this since we went to the park yesterday, which was also really nice and very relaxing. I loved and missed the sun so much, and just like being there and laying on the grass under the sun, best feeling ever, although I didn't put sunblock on. Oh, and we also got some really incredible pastries last night, and I got an extra one for today, so I'm really looking forward to eating that today. It's like an apple pie. I don't know what it was, but it just looks delicious. I did take a little bit of a bite this morning and it was pretty good, but I need to warm it up. Like, I just kind of took it out of the fridge and I was like, let me just try a little bit. I love sweet treats. Anyway, Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. I am now on page 310 and I'm now a lot more invested in this world and this character, although there are some things that I still have questions about and like they don't necessarily make a lot of sense. Like, I'm still kind of gathering all the pieces of information together and trying to make a complete picture of this world. I am now a lot more invested, like I said, especially Lynn. I really love her as a character, and I think since we got to page like 200 ish, like that's when everything just started connecting and the pieces started coming together. It's definitely more slow paced, there's not a lot of action so far, but I at the same time really appreciate that Cassandra Clare is taking her time to build this world, because then the world becomes a lot more familiar and coming back to it feels like, okay, I kind of know where everything is. I don't know, it just gives you time to get familiar with it, I guess. We're also learning more about this other character that I didn't mention to you guys, but he has the same name as the second book actually. He is the, what is his name? The sword starts with an S. Oh, hold on. Why am I forgetting? It didn't start with an S. The Rack Picker King. He I don't know how much I can say about him actually, but we are slowly learning more about him and how he's going to come into play with the plot of the book. And then we're also learning a lot more about the magic system, which I find very interesting. I am enjoying this. I'm looking forward to being back in the world, and I think this is what I'm gonna read for the rest of today because I'm at a point where I just want to continue reading. So I think that's what we're gonna do, but we're also gonna clean. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep reading.